Hi, I'm Marty Larson, and I'm owner and founder of Uncommon Age, and I'm also a Z trainer, and I fully believe the benefits that the CrossCore 180 or the War Machine and Z Health together, what they can do for you and your clients. So I'm going to have Jen working today, and I'll be narrating and showing you some, all the way from some beginner and some pretty simplistic Z drills that you can do with the CrossCore 180, all the way to some pretty advanced stuff, so you can challenge yourself as well as your clients. So thanks for joining us. Here's Jen. She's going to show you, actually right now she's in a neutral stance, hanging onto the CrossCore 180, but she's going to go into the different compass lunge positions just to show you some different drills that can be done. So initially she'll just go into a lateral lunge, doing some medial ankle tilts. And right from there, going into some middle and outside and inside toe pulls. So the CrossCore 180 helps the client take a little bit of weight off the foot, if that's what they're looking for. It also enables the user to actually put a little bit more weight or load the mobility drill, if that's what you're looking for too. So going back to the compass lunge positions now, she's going to go into an anterior 45-degree lunge and do some knee circles, closed chain knee circles. So again, either using the CrossCore to get you deeper, if that's what you're looking for, or to use it as an aid to take weight off. Either way, it works great. Okay, so she's stepping into a posterior 45 and doing some hip circles. And right from there, actually, she's going to go into a pelvic circle as well. So again, CrossCore helps the client maybe get deeper into that lunge position that she wouldn't otherwise be able to get into potentially because of range of motion issues, maybe with ankles, knees, whatever. So Jen's going to go into a thoracic anterior-posterior glide. And again, she can make the difficulty level or increase it by changing her body angle in relation to the CrossCore and the floor. So again, trying to hone in on the different parts of the thoracic spine. And now she'll go into a thoracic circle. Good, and going the other way. And even in that position, depending on where your client is at, she can do her anterior-posterior cervical glides, working her neck, which is quite challenging, and going into some rotations. Lateral tilts, bringing the ear to the shoulder. Great. And right here, while she's there, again, into some camshafts. So then if Jen chooses to make things a little harder, she can go into a deep squat and go into a pegboard drill. So again, increasing the difficulty level. Deeper your client goes. So now Jen's doing the pegboard drill along with the rolling toe pulls, just making it a little bit smoother with her groundwork. So now Jen's going to come even deeper into her supine position, and she's actually going to just start out doing some pulls. And as she comes back to neutral, she can do a pelvic circle there, quite loaded. She could do anything she wants. She can do camshafts down there, she can do thoracics. And then she can also do all these things rotated. So as she does a pull, she can go into a pelvic circle here. And even a thoracic circle. Pretty challenging here. So you're rotated, you're loaded, and Jen's still smiling. So here's Jen actually facing away from the CrossCore, and again, just like in her other positions, her body angle can make things or enhance the difficulty level. So right here, she's just going to start out with some toe pulls. If the pin is in the CrossCore, the War Machine, it's going to make things a little bit more stable. So testing your client obviously is going to help with that. So right from that position, she's going to go into a hanging knee circle. Pretty challenging with the pin out. And then with her other leg, she'll go into a hip pendulum. And she can take that out to the side if she'd like. Good. Okay. Now, right from this position, Jen's going to go into what CrossCore likes to refer to as a signature move. So she's going to go down into basically a side plank. Now, this is really challenging. If she wanted to make it easier, again, she could be a little bit more upright. She could also have her bottom arm wrapped around. So those are things you can do with your clients to make things a little bit easier, a little bit more stable, depending on where they're at. So she can do it wherever she likes. And right now, doing some of the exact same moves she's already done. So she goes right into the pelvic circle. And then from there, how about a lateral thoracic glide? Quite challenging, and right into an anterior posterior glide. And then into a thoracic circle, full circle. Yep. So Jen's got a small kettlebell now. This is actually 8 pounds. Obviously, play around with your clients. We've started with small kettlebells, so she's hooking one of the straps on to one end of the CrossCore, and the other one, she's going to stand back and do some loaded elbow circles. So she's making sure kettlebell's not going crazy. And again, that kettlebell's about 8 pounds, so it's just enough. She could do more. Now, after her elbow circles, depending on what body position she's in, she has so many choices with the CrossCore, she can again do a camshaft loaded with that kettlebell. So she can work on her abduction and adduction, or she can rotate her body towards the kettlebell and work on her camshafts that way. Many of my clients who suffer from a lot of neck and back problems, I've actually made a lot of use with the kettlebell. So for instance, they'll just go into a wood chopper. So I'll first cue them on how to do a pegboard drill, and then we'll add the light kettlebell as Jen goes into first the pegboard drill and then into the wood chopper. And one thing that I'm finding so much is how many joints she's involving, and it's loaded with the kettlebell. She could obviously do a lot more than 8 pounds if she wants, and actually with my clients who work with a lot of pain, I've start with 10-pound kettlebell and then kind of go from there. And they've had no problem at all, and it really alleviates a lot. So here's Jen. She's down on the floor, and we're initially going to do a bent knee hip circle down on the floor. So she's just got one of the handles in, and there's so many different ways you could decide to put your feet in. But this is with a client who needs a little guidance, needs a little weight, in doing your bent knee hip circle. So then, say Jen wants to use both of her legs. She hooks the CrossCore back on to the other handle. And puts both her legs in. Bent knee hip circles here. And obviously she can choose to do that with hip internal or external rotation. And from here, she can go up into a shoulder bridge. So he's going to lift her hind end off the floor, do the exact same thing. Bent knee hip circles, really loaded. So Jen's taking her hip circles one step further, so she's going to turn over and basically do a frog kick here. But depending on how you cue your client with their hips, nice loaded hip circles here. And she can reverse it as she's doing. Beautiful. Now, as long as Jen's in this plank position, obviously she can do camshafts. She can do a bunch of different drills in this plank position. They're kind of endless. Okay, so here's Jen around on her knees again, and we're calling this the dive, which works on some spinal flexibility. So she's diving out, bringing her arms and shoulders around, and then she's going to roll up through her spine, coming tall. There's an infinite amount of ways you can use the CrossCore 180 with joint mobility drills, loading them, making them easier, any number of ways. So it just takes a little bit of creativity and checking in with other Z trainers. So thanks, Jen.